Okay, so the Rubary. Um, I really don't know where the name come from. I don't remember. I didn't really mean anything. It didn't really derive from anything. I don't really remember where it come from. To be honest with you, just something I made up. But I like the idea of the fake origins of it. Of like that's not their real name. I mean, like, how would we know the alien's name unless we talk to them? So like, whatever name we would use, would be the one we would give them, right? So I like the idea, like that's the reason why I wrote in there that it was the guy who found them or discovered their homework with to name them. And I like the idea that he wouldn't want anybody else, any other name, to bear the burden, so he just used his own name. I like that. That was kind of like a interesting, just interesting take on stuff. But no, I have no idea where it came from. In terms of like them themselves, and I didn't want to make them the ghoulish type thing. That's been done. Uh, I didn't want them to make them like unreasonable, um, like a predator or whatever. And then of course, like the aliens, they're just monsters, animal type things. So like Robotech, I thought it was always like interesting, where it's like it's just another alien race. It's just another race of species that's just from another world. So I think I even put a line in there like they're just humans on another planet. So it's kind of this. That's kind of the basic idea. Well, they're just humans on another planet. They look different, sound different, speak different, etc. But I mean, for all intents and purposes, they're just that other planet's humans. Um, and of course, you have Star Wars and Star Trek, where you have like silly alien variations and different purple colors and little antennae and things like that. They don't do that either. I want to make them like more humanoid. Basically, just a different version of a human. I like that I approach better. Uh, Definitely not like drooling and acid blood and things like that. That doesn't really work for me. But I also didn't want them to be like so much more advanced than us. It's like unreal. Like I thought it'd be maybe, I don't know. We're trying to use the word realistic in these terms. We're talking about alien race and stuff, but like I mean, like I don't automatically assume everybody else has all the answers. So it's like I didn't want to write where these aliens have all the answers that we don't. I want them to be just as confused and lacking as we are. So that's the reason why they're trying to figure out things. That's the reason why they haven't had uh, all out invasion of the Earth, is because they're just as unsure of us as we are them. We just expanded too far. And we didn't really get into the book that much, but these are things that would come out later. But this is kind of the universe in my head. We just extended our reach, and it's kind of like a gang. We crossed another turf, and they let us know it. It's not that they're trying to. And I hate the whole natural resources thing. Oh God, it's been so overdone. I don't like. Well, they run their planet. Now they need ours. That's an allegory for us to take care. And I hate that stuff. I hate that stuff. It's overdone. Go somewhere else for that. I'll tell you right now, there's no hidden meaning in any of this stuff with Mirov. I'll just tell you right now, it is what it is. What you see is what it is. If there's hidden meaning, then great. It's because you put it there. If there's some other things there that mean something to me, yes, you bet. But there's no political, there's no religious, there's no nothing. There's no wokeism. There's no conservatism. There's no nothing. It is what it is. It's right there. Um, so there's no agenda with the aliens at all. And really the story, really. They're just a different set of people, humans, that we just run up against. So that kind of explains the Rubary. In terms of like the Unidom thing, so like one thing I do find it interesting is, and it's not it's not a political meaning or message. It's just an interesting thought. So like I've always like World War II. Yeah, obviously this really, or no line then obviously, but World War II had this really horrible enemy, and it's obviously they're really bad, and we need to stop them. But like America really had to like raise money to create war bonds and stuff to go get money to build stuff to go fight them, right? So like, it always kind of bothered me. Like, should we just have done this like in general? Like, should we have just in general like created tanks and aircraft carriers and stuff to like go fight Hitler? So like, so I like the idea of like, shouldn't we just, if we have aliens going to destroy the Earth, shouldn't we just work together and make this not a thing? Why would money and politics ever get in the way of that? So the whole reason behind the creation of Unidom and all that kind of stuff was just playing to me an extension of the idea. Like, why do we need to set all these rules and entities to go do this? Like, why is there such a why is this so bureaucratic? Shouldn't we just be doing this? If we have if our whole entire species can be wiped out by another, shouldn't we just rally together? Like, do we really need to have like a bonds, a bond drive to raise money to fight like the aliens? Should we just do that? So the one thing I thought was interesting is Devlin on the surface without the drugs has a point. The governor, I mean, has a point as well. I mean, they should be more freedom for Mars, but I mean, you have to do something to fight the aliens. And Mirov does have to make a choice. She makes her choice if you read the book, obviously. That's not a statement on my part. It's just more of like she had to make a decision, and she went with what she knew. She went with she thought was the better choice for like humanity. But it kind of all that those questions have come from that. Like, why did we have to like? Should we? I mean, money is money and it's important, but like, if you just took money, like all the materials are there to build aircraft carriers and make bombs and bullets and stuff to go fight the Nazis. Like it's like money didn't make that stuff appear. It's already exists on the planet. Money is just a way to keep score of like the trade of it. So like, if we have the ability to fight humans, we have those abilities. Why do we have to create all these entities to go do that? Shouldn't we just go do it? And I don't have the answer there. It's just an interesting question, and I understand why we had to raise bonds. I understand money, and I'm a capitalist. Don't get me wrong, but the question is interesting. It's not so much that I have an answer. I just find the question itself intriguing. So the whole idea of Unidom, that kind of, I say all that to say that's kind of where Unidom coming from, and that's the dynamic of the MLA versus the Mars Liberation Army versus Unidom, and with the Rubary, that whole triangle there is where that comes from. I don't think I'm going to explore it in future books. I think the MLA I'm pretty much done with. It served its purpose. But the whole idea of humans not working together against something that should be obviously work together, that's a running theme that'll always be there. I mean, if it made 50 books, that would be something that's a core theme of the book. If we need to work together to fight a common enemy, why aren't we working together? This should be easier than this, but humans make things harder. We just make things harder than it has to be. We'll say this on the even though I have no agenda, I'm kind of fibbing. I guess I do have one agenda, and that's like I talked about the when Mirov to have a romantic relationship. So like I'm always bothered. Like, I understand my own point of view comes from a white male point of view. I totally understand that. I don't understand though, like why we have to make such a big deal out of like certain things. Why should they just be it? So what I'm saying is, so like if instead of making a big deal of like this girl power thing, why don't I just assume it's there and just write it as if it's a fact? So instead of like, a lot of times these girl power movies make a really big deal to shine a light on it. Well, I'm like, okay, well, let's skip forward a generation, and what would it be like? You would just have it, right? You would just have girl power. So that's kind of my point with Mirov, is she just is powerful. You could take Mirov and this female character and then swap her out for a male character, and you wouldn't really have to change the book much, right? Other than instead of a daughter, it'd be instead of her being a mother to a daughter, it'd be a father to a daughter. Other than that, it'd be the same same thing, right? So I'm trying to like skip ahead to where we should be. That's my motivation. So instead of like making a big deal to get to a place, I'm trying to just be at the place. She is a female heroine. She's a female protagonist. She's powerful. She is what she is. Boom. I'm not going to explain it. I'm not going to excuse it. I'm not going to write all this backstory to make it explain it. And I made sure to limit the use of things in the book that would like define it. Try to limit the use of words bitch or any kind of like female derogative terms. I tried to like forgo all that. The only time her sexuality is even mentioned once is when Devlin, the bad guy, is like, whoa, I can't imagine a dude even hitting on you. I figured that was like something I need to address anyway, because it addresses the fact that she has a daughter. But other than that, it's like I'm assuming that it's no big deal that she's a female protagonist, and I'm just going for it. That's probably my only real agenda with the book, is that it's like at some point, whether it be a female protagonist or a black protagonist or an Asian protagonist or whatever, you have to just they're that and not make it a big deal. Just boom. So like James Bond. So like say like I mentioned Idris Elba before being the governor. Like so if Idris Elba played James Bond, just make it like Idris Elba is James Bond, and not like have this thing where you excuse it or write this backstory to get there. Like boom, he's James Bond. Like boom, and you just make a James Bond movie, but it's Idris Elba. So it's kind of the same thing. I don't want to excuse it. I don't want to ask for permission. I don't want to make any apologize. Boom, Rob is a female. Rob is powerful. It's an assumed thing. Go. That was my only agenda, and that's not. I'm not trying to sound like virtuous or like I'm this woke guy or anything like that. But I have a daughter, and I've been around women. I've honestly been around more women in my life than men. Raised by women. When they're in a relationship since like 17 for the much, with my first marriage, and then very quickly into my second. So it's like women have a prominent place in my life more than men. So like, okay, well, let's make something that I think that they would like. And so that's what I tried to do. Other than that, there's no agenda. If there's an agenda there or some meaning there, if you find some spiritual meaning, some political meaning, anything else, it's because you put it there. But those are the two things I find interesting. I want the assumption of a powerful woman, take it as a given, and I wanted to play around with the bureaucracy of fighting a common enemy that I don't know why we should make it this hard to find them. So, all right. So I think in the next one, I'll kind of wrap it up with some thoughts. But anyway, that gives you an idea about where the villains and I guess the themes kind of are.